Alright, today on Moonshine Radio Lab we're going to talk about the Pluto SDR. This thing runs just about under $300. You can get it for $230 or so. These things are on eBay, AliExpress. Basically it's a 2-channel SDR. Works from 70 megahertz to 6 gig. And with the Ethernet streaming, you can probably get about 5 megahertz of bandwidth. Anything more than that, the Ethernet's not going to keep up. Alright, you got the data port. We won't use that. They got the main Ethernet port. That's what we use for streaming. And then the 5 volts. Want to make sure the 5 volts can do 2 amps for supply. It's going to need a 5 volt supply that can at least do 2 amps. To set the IP address of this thing, you just plug the data port there into a PC and it will act like a thumb drive. Then you just open up a text file and set the USB IP address. Real simple. Alright, 4 SMA ports, 2 transmit, 2 receive. And we'll look at the transmit port today and see what the spectrum looks like. Alright folks, once you plug in the data port on the Pluto, you'll see this show up, and this is the config file that we want to edit to set the IP address. Alright, once you open that config file, you see down here is the USB Ethernet. That is the IP address you want to set. So I'm setting mine to 192.168.1.200. So that is the IP address I'm going to have to enter when we open up GNU Radio. So once you've done that, save the file, and then you can disconnect the USB device from your computer. Alright, open up GNU Radio here. First thing we'll do is we'll just have a signal source. We'll go ahead with this is totally arbitrary, but we'll just put a 50 kilohertz offset for our signal. And this will be Pluto. We'll use the Pluto sync, and we will connect these two things. Here we have to put in the IP colon 192.168.1.200. Alright, style frequency of 100 megahertz. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And our sample rate will be 1 megahertz. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. And we'll make that be 0, so that'll be our max power out of this thing. And let's run the script. And there it is running. Nice. Okay, here is the 100 megahertz signal with the 50 kilohertz offset, and we got a peak of 1.74 dBm. So that's pretty much our max output of this little Pluto Plus. So it's probably going to get worse as we go higher. So let's put it out 2 gigahertz and see what that power is. Alright, so to go to 2 gigahertz, all we have to do is stop the flow graph, and then open this up and change this to 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Whoever wrote this code, it'd be nice if I could enter it in scientific notation, just an FYI to the future programmer. Anyway, we'll just enter our decimals manually. Alright, so now we have a 2 gigahertz carrier with a 50 kilohertz offset, and we will run this. And now we'll look at the spec in and see what it looks like. Okay, now we will set our center to 2 gigahertz, and we will do a peak. And as expected, the power is going to get a little bit less as up though. So now we're at negative 1.57. So any of you folks wanted to use this for 2 gigs or higher, you're probably going to be looking at those type of output powers. So a little amp or something would be needed to do anything useful with it, but it works quite well for how cheap it is. There you go. Pluto Plus, people. Go get one today. This has been a production of Moonshine Radio. Alright, so let's take a little bit to look at the output spectrum here. I got a 100 megahertz signal, so let's start this down at 10 megahertz. And let's go all the way to what we can here, which I think is 3 gig. So as you can see, we got some harmonics and stuff. So that, I guess, is to be expected. So may want to have filters on this thing, obviously, because you got something down there at 197. You got another thing here. I mean, you can see 496, 695, 899, just all over the place. So it's one of the dangers of just hooking one of these things up to an antenna. You're just going to have all this splatter coming out that inexperienced people are going to be just totally unaware of. So probably a low pass filter is needed to look at this signal here at 100 megahertz. When we just look at it close in, I get the bandwidth back to auto, it looks pretty good. But as we span the whole thing out here, you can see we got some issues. But yeah, there's the Pluto. Just wanted to show you guys what this whole spectrum looks like, looking at the whole picture. Not many people show you that, so I figured I would. So if you want to make a bunch of harmonics, this would be a great device. Otherwise, a simple low-pass filter to knock out all those harmonics is probably a good idea for anyone seriously considering this for some open transmit work. But for $200, there you go. The Pluto SDR in all its goodness, ugliness, and reality. Well, I figured I'd give you a technical talk here, unlike the other clowns on YouTube. Moonshine Radio.